Well, hey there. Is this working? I think so. Okay, so by now, you have decided that you want to help with the Rampages yearbook. So, super quick, little orientation. How about that? So, Y Club, because so much of what we do is online, wireless, internet. You don't necessarily absolutely have to be in yearbook class so long as you have some time. If you are in yearbook class, this will kind of give you an introduction, maybe what your appetite for the stuff that we're going to be learning about next year. Okay. Um, I come from a background, much bigger school, 4A school, 2,600 kids, something like that, like more than 500 people just in my graduating class. Granted, that's way back in like 1988. But we were sort of a magnet school for a publications program. We had yearbook, newspaper, and public relations that worked for the district instead of them having to hire somebody to do that for them. These days, you have a website. Then we had like school newsletter. Anyway, it was a big, huge program, almost like colleges would have. If you or older brothers sisters have taken any college visits, you know there's Daily Iowan. I forget what the Cyclone version of that is in Ames, but these big school newspapers. Well, we used to have that here. Now we just basically have a page that's part of the Mapleton Press. But this yearbook that you're becoming a part of has been around for, boy, not just 68 years, but a lot more than that. Um, but here's what's awesome about it. You're going to be learning stuff. You're going to be what's called a project manager, right? And it's stuff that's going to help you in other clubs, other classes, and really kind of on the job sort of stuff. If you're interested in that, even if you don't want to become a professional photographer, a professional graphic designer, or a professional writer. Um, but there are like five or six, not just three strands here. One, there's the visual art strand, both for photography, but also graphic design and layout design. Two, there is a bit of a writing strand, even though I'm not a ELA or English language arts teacher or licensed in journalism. There is the writing aspect and reporting aspect of it. And three, there is also a bit of a business kind of a thing. Again, I'm not Mrs. Sass. I'm not an accounting or entrepreneurship teacher, but you're going to be having some stuff where we're dealing with marketing. We're trying to encourage sponsors to help us out. It used to be that we'd sell advertising, and we want to encourage students and parents to buy the thing that we're producing. This really is a business. So you're getting a lot of stuff here. Um, I know that Mrs. Paulson and Mrs. Mallory, the English teachers, uh, it's tough to do that RAM write up kind of on the side, and this year mostly what they've been doing is senior bios, and frankly, they mostly are just having like interview questions like surveys, and the kids practically write it themselves. Um, but if you're open to that, I'd love to teach you some tricks to try and make that a little bit easier. Hey, I'm not entirely sure what all any of you incoming freshmen that are eighth graders were doing with Mrs. Dirksen on Yearbook Avenue. I hope you're learning a little bit of that skill kind of stuff. I imagine that a lot of you have talked about the fact that you've used Canva, so that is something that similar kind of skills. Um, I want this to be fun. I want it to be something that you're going to want to do. One reason is because if kids don't want to be part of it, they'll take the class first semester and then bail second semester, and then I got to do all that work myself. So partly, I want it to be fun so that you don't leave. I want you to want to learn this kind of stuff. But while I don't want to make it really boring, I do want you to know that I'm a bit of an expert in this. I'm not tooting my own horn, but like I said, I was in magnet school in high school. I was involved in the college paper in college. And I've been a yearbook advisor or newspaper advisor for the 30 years that I've been teaching. I've worked a lot for the Mapleton Press, a little bit for uh, other papers, the Enterprise Publishing Group is involved with, like the Dunlap Reporter, Missouri Valley Times. Anyway, um, enough about me. I want to show you a couple of fun things since I'm taking so much time already, and you probably don't want to listen to this for 20 minutes or half an hour. I'm thinking it may be able to do this once a week. It may only be able to do this a couple times a week, but if I did a bit of a video blog like this, it's stuff that you can access, and maybe I'll highlight some different things throughout the year. Maybe taking pictures of volleyball and baseball might be one great thing that could be helpful. If it doesn't look like I'm looking at you, maybe because I'm looking at myself in the corner down there, or I can't figure out where my camera is. Sorry. Anyway, but just for this intro, I wanted to let you know that business strand, writing strand, visual art strand. The visual art strand is both the layout and the graphic design and the photography. Trying to show you three fingers, but I'm not doing very good. Can't figure where the hand goes to the. Anyway, I've shared this website with you, right? Rampages. WordPress.com. There, it's easy to find. Front part says news and announcements, and that's more or less like any other blog. Here's articles, and some of them go back when I was teaching at Boyer Valley, so you notice the purple. That doesn't necessarily mean that they aren't going to be helpful. Hope they are anyway. A lot of this is not for you. It's for students and parents, right? So, for instance, what do we need for senior portraits is right here. Sizes and dimensions and deadlines, that kind of a thing. All year long, you can order a yearbook. This will wrap up here at the end of May, and then you won't be able to order a yearbook until we start up again in July or August for next school year and next volume issue. Okay. This is a little bit about me and my background as with student publications and journalism. If you're interested in that, this RAM Stacks is different links. People can buy old books. We don't have a whole lot in our inventory, but learn a little bit about our district, tiny bit of history, and also the library in town in Mapleton does have links, and it goes back to like 1912, something like that. It became the Rampages in 1968, I think, is when they created that name. But if you ever want to know a little bit of history of your school, I've tried to compile a tiny little bit, not a whole ton. But this is a section that's mostly for you, right? So next fall we'll get your picture, and we'll add you to that, and maybe this part will grow a little bit. But you are joining this part, right? The Y Club. Some of you may be in the class next fall, and many of you won't. This might even be how you found us by entering that survey, the interest survey. Here, show you quickly on this one, and then I'll go to the more fun one. You can explore a lot of this stuff yourself, but whether you want to learn on your own, whether you want to kind of gear up this summer and be ready for the class this fall, or next fall when we're either in the class or you're on the staff as a volunteer, extracurricular, Y Club, you might be able to use some of these, right? This is how, if you forget or you don't have it bookmarked, you'll be able to get to Yearbook Avenue, which is how we create our yearbook. Here are different articles that our publisher, Jostens, has. I'm scrolling down. I've got some different tools. This one I'll actually bother to show you real quickly. You might have heard of Bound or Varsity Bound if you're an athlete or you've got an older brother or sister. It is. That is. But this is really a journalist's dream. We're living in a time where this stuff is so easy. Most of our coaches upload this stuff to Bound, and that way different schools and districts and coaches can share all this, and Girls Athletic Union and high school sports association. You want to see, for instance, if we were going to go into track and field, often we'll be able to see the schedule, the roster, who the coaches are, and how they're doing over here. There often will be, comparing us to other schools or other districts. So you can see we're coming up to the Drake Relays in state. Okay, so that's bound. Chicago Style Manual is how to write in a journalistic style. Grammarly, you might have heard of, helps you clean up. Right, it might help you a little bit in your high school English classes. Check your spelling. Okay, these are where you're really going to have a lot of fun. I'm showing my art students how to use Photopea a little bit. Pixlr is kind of like that. Those are online editing tools that are not too different than Photoshop, except that they're free. Some of you have used Canva already. Mark is another version of that kind of thing, but I don't think they're doing as well as Canva. So you can explore it, but you know, lorem ipsum is fun. It's just nonsense sentences. It's basically Latin, and it's for filler for those designing kind of things. Canva may do that for you. If you never understood or realized, maybe your parents subscribe to one of these, your grandparents do. There's a lot of newspapers around here, and this week I've been sending them all kinds of senior pictures. Okay, and hopefully you do know about this already. We've got a Facebook group. There's a Pinterest board for yearbook ideas. I'd love for you to start thinking about themes. You could follow Rampages on Instagram. Next year, maybe we'll have you contributing to that stuff instead of me doing it. I've got a entire playlist. I'm not saying you absolutely have to look at these, but I've got a playlist. A lot of them, you notice, are called Bullpen because Bulldogs when I used to be at Boyer Valley. But some of them are ones that I've created. Other ones are ones that I've found. But if you are interested in learning about Yearbook Avenue or magazine and newspaper and yearbook layout design, beyond the graphic design kind of stuff that Canva has all kinds of templates for. Uh, most of these are a lot shorter than this video, right? 7 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes, and you can stop them and watch them later if you don't want to watch them. And the last kind of thing, again, if you're really serious, if you would like to be a writer, any of that, I'm not saying I'm gonna boom. We're gonna do this. It really depends on you and your interest. But if you get enough of that are not just interested in the design or the photography side, but you're interested in the reporting and learning and communications. Maybe you're interested in Ramcast with Coach Berger. These are some websites that they've got all kinds of ideas and resources for you to learn from. Here is a more fun thing that I wanted to show you, though. Here we go to the press room, right? And the press room is going to look something like this. To do. A lot of elementary teachers came up with this sort of a thing back during COVID, right? Here's our link to Facebook. Here's our link to the Instagram feed. If you're a bit of an artist or you do some sketching or you're really proud of your photography and you don't just want to share it with Rampages for the yearbook, maybe you want to upload it to Artsonia. Well, there's our school code. And here, pretty much everything except me and the cactus are things that you can click on to find. Some of you have been to Canva before. If you've never been to Canva, play with it. Okay. Here is Photopea. Here's Pixlr. It's like that. Image Flip. It's not really good journalism. It's like make your own memes. But bunch of games for reporting and journalism from University of Miami. The News Literacy Project, I believe, is Penn State University. I think that's it. Here is a Pinterest board again for yearbook kind of things. There is, boy, I can't remember the name of the program, but it's kind of a graphic design. You can draw, you can paint, or you can come up with logos. This is a super streamlined, simple word processing writing tool. This is a camera simulator to kind of help you learn the things on a real camera as opposed to your phone sort of a camera. And hey, all in one place instead of a bunch of videos from other people. These are kind of my vlog, so to speak, that bullpen that I talked about before. So not just a few of those, but a lot of those. But hopefully you'll check out a lot of these resources this summer, maybe even this week. I'm not asking you to make yearbook your whole life. I understand we're at a small school, and we want you to be involved in a bunch of other things. One of the best things you can do, believe it or not, for your grades is to get involved in lots of things. You know, so student council, National Honor Society. Well, once you're junior or sophomore, um, choir, band, jazz choir, business, Professionals of America, FFA, not just the yearbook. But if we get enough of you and you are really interested in your book and we turn this thing around and make it a lot better than it's ever been, it's more about you than me. Um, maybe we become a publications department. Maybe we work in tandem with social media class and the broadcasting or Ramcast class and maybe we do something with that RAM write up. I'm not saying I'm here to take it over from the English teachers, although I'm sure they'd love me to do that. But if there's enough of you that actually appreciate the importance of writing and aren't afraid of it, there's a lot of people that just hate writing and hate reading, kind of like other people hate math or other people hate PE. I don't know. But if enough of you like it, or you realize, hey, this isn't so scary because Mr. Mallory has shown me these different sites and resources and games to play, and it's not as hard as I thought. Maybe it won't just be the Rampages yearbook. Maybe it'll be MVAO COU Publications Department. The Y Club is what you make it, not what I make it. But I'm looking forward to meeting more of you, especially the freshmen. Some of you that are incoming freshmen, eighth graders. Some of you that are already 9 through 11. I know already, and I know that you're not looking forward to next school year. You're looking forward to the summer. But come around this website and check some stuff out when you're bored, when you have time, when you have internet access, and maybe you'll end up loving publications or photography or writing or words and pictures and all of this stuff that is what goes into a yearbook as